Hi everyone, my name is Alafia and I am the CEO and co-founder of OrishaConnect.com. So today's video is about godparents. And godparents are wonderful, beautiful. I mean, just the idea of a godparent is a wonderful thing because it means that you have somebody that is going to guide you through your spiritual process and through whatever ceremonies that you might go through. And they are the person that is like your ace, or they should be your number one supporter, and also your number one critic in regards to some of the stuff you may or may not be doing. And having good godparents is the best. I mean, just the best. I've had multiple godparents, and I'm going to say right now that just because you start off with a set of godparents doesn't mean you have to stay with those godparents. And having godparents is kind of like, and I know I've said this before probably, but having godparents is kind of like dating, where you have to assess whether or not the spiritual relationship that you have with that person is one that is growing, is one that is open, and is one where you feel empowered to ask questions, because also a godparent is supposed to be someone who's teaching you. And this is not to, say that, a godparent that is not, I mean, like, because when you're a godchild, sometimes you may not see the lessons that are happening because you have maybe an overwhelming urge to learn more in a very short period of time instead of, the years and years and lifetimes of study that it takes. But if you do have a godparent, or you're seeking out a godparent, you should seek out one that has a situation that fits your lifestyle. Like, I am a person that really benefited from having godparents that don't have very many godchildren. Why? Because it was very important to me to build a spiritual relationship, to build a level of continuous contact. And when someone has a bunch of godchildren, I noticed that for me, that wasn't the level of connectivity with that person that I would want. And so I chose godparents that had very few godchildren. And I also was very lucky because since I was brought up in this faith, I had access to great godparents. I had access to folks that I had known since being a child. And so for someone that's new to this faith, they don't necessarily have that option. So to give you an idea of some things that you need to look for, you need to look for a godparent that is responsive. And what I mean by responsive is that if you have questions or if you have needs, there is at least an initial, conversation that says, hey, I've heard you, let's meet and talk about this, or I can't really get back to you right now, but I'm here and I'm going to, follow up with you. Because what a lot of people, especially folks that are new to the faith, can sometimes forget is that your godparents are still people, and many of them still have jobs, and they still have, other priorities in their social lives outside of being a godparent and outside of being a spiritual leader. And it's important for whatever godparent that you choose, for you to feel like you have some connectivity to them and that they're responsive to you. Also, I know it's not ideal when your godparent is not in your immediate area. So if you have an opportunity to make connections, or if your current, like say you move to a different city, if your current godparent can give you a referral to someone that's in your area, that's great, even though divinations and ceremonies can sometimes happen remotely. I think that it's important, if you're new to the faith, to have a godparent that's in your immediate area. What else? And you should also have a godparent that is not trying to fear monger you into staying with them. And I know that this is going to step on a few toes, but just because you start off with a godparent doesn't mean you'll continue to have that godparent. And sometimes that godparent is in your life for that particular time to teach you something, and that, you are supposed to move on to someone else. But what I've noticed is that because, particularly for newer folks, because there's so much money available in this religion through ceremony, sometimes there is like this fear mongering to tell you, no, like, you can't have another godparent, like, you're stuck with me. No, you can't talk to this other religious leader, this other priest, this other diviner, because if you're talking to them, that's taking money away from me. And of course, these things are not said out loud, but there's this pigeonholing that happens. And so if you feel like that is happening, I mean, just you got to watch. You've got to watch. Not every godparent relationship is good. Okay, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. So again, have someone who's open, available, responsive, knowledgeable, which is something that you'll learn with time, and someone who's in it for the long haul, if that's where it's supposed to be, like somebody who's building a relationship with you. And yeah, I've just been really lucky with the godparents that I've had. And I know that that's not the case for everybody. So if you don't have the right fit, feel empowered to find the right fit. All right, folks. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.